let's talk about grief for a second, specifically death and grief that comes with that. My parents passed away years and years and years ago. And now I understand that to a Christian, death is no more than sleeping. But Aaron, you say, how in the world am I supposed to just treat somebody as sleeping when I don't even get to talk to them anymore? And that's something that I struggled with a lot when I was a little bit younger. My parents passed away about 10 years ago, and even the passing of time has just dulled the pain. It's still there. I still miss them. I still miss talking to them. I know they were Christians. I know that they were saved, but it still hurts. So ultimately, loss is never easy, even to a Christian. Even Jesus Christ isn't immune or wasn't immune to grief and sadness and sorrow. So we're going to turn over to John chapter 11, verse 11. And God's word says, "This he said, and after that he said to them, 'Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I go, so that I may awaken him out of sleep.'" And he's talking to his disciples there. And a lot of times he would just speak metaphorically, and they didn't really get it. Continuing on, verse 12, the disciples then said to him, "Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will recover." Now, Jesus had spoken of his death, but they thought that he was speaking of literal sleep. So Jesus then said to them plainly, which is funny, plainly, "Lazarus is dead. And I'm glad for your sakes that I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him." Now it continues on in verse 16, Thomas, Didymus, which just means twin, not doubting Thomas, but it is the same that we call doubting Thomas. He basically says, if we go there, we're going to die. So let's go to our death. And Jesus is like, all right, we're going. So scrolling down into, let's see, verse 38. He's already had Martha come and run to him and say, if you hadn't, or if you had been here, Lazarus would not be dead. 4 days had passed since Lazarus had died. The messenger had came and left and given the word that Jesus was going to be on his way. Jesus even waited 2 extra days. And this lends authenticity. It makes it a little bit more believable to everybody around that if somebody's been dead for 4 days, there's really no coming back. It's done, right? So verse 38, "So Jesus, again being deeply moved within, came to the tomb. Now it was a cave," which is common at that point in time, "and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, 'Remove the stone.' Martha, the sister of the deceased, said to him, 'Lord, by this time there will be a stench, for he's been dead 4 days.'" Which is what I said earlier. Jesus said to her, "Did I not say to you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" That's something that we need to understand as we go through grief, as we walk that path of loss. Look towards God, look towards Jesus Christ, and they will help you. They'll help you believe that you will see them again. You will see them again. Verse 41, "So they removed the stone. Then Jesus raised his eyes and said, 'Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but because of the people standing around, I said it, so that they may believe that you sent me.'" Notice here that Jesus isn't bowing his head as we do in tradition. He raises his eyes to heaven to look for God. He doesn't close his eyes. He looks up and he says, "God, thank you for hearing me." We can do that too. Now, if you feel more comfortable bowing your head when you pray, that's absolutely fine. I do as well. It's a sign of reverence. It's a sign of respect, to us culturally. But sometimes it's good to look up to God, look up at the beautiful sky above you, and understand that the world is a lot bigger than just us. It's a lot bigger than our current problems, our current issues. And it means that we can overcome it. It gives us the idea that we can overcome things through him, to recognize that. Verse 43, when he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. The man who had died came forth, bound hand and foot with wrappings, and his face was wrapped around with a cloth. Jesus said to them, unbind him and let him go. Now, this is the real reason for the resurrection account of Lazarus. It was quite literally to give the disciples a deeper understanding and a deeper belief in Jesus Christ and what he was about to do. If they see, oh, wow, he's able to resurrect Lazarus, then 3 days of being dead and being raised, defeating death, I guess it's, probable. It could happen. Now we see in the resurrection account of Jesus Christ, obviously the disciples were torn apart. So this passage, the resurrection of Lazarus, as well as a few others, really helped me through the grief of losing my parents. It means that I'm going to see them again one day. Your loved ones, I pray that you'll be able to see them too. The key point is Jesus is the only way to resurrection. It's the only way for us to defeat death. We cannot do it on our own. He does it for us. The only thing we have to do is believe. I hope this little talk helped. I hope it gives you a deeper understanding of John 11, the resurrection of Lazarus. And I would love to have you write a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are, what kind of grief you've been through, and we'll all pray for each other. I will see you very soon. God bless.